game 4 for the Sun Devils. They lose a tough game to BYU last week. Colorado just gets blown out by Minnesota 30-0. Saturday, 7:30, Sun Devil Stadium. Greg, is this a rebound game for ASU?
I don't know what you want to call it, but they better win. ASU, the loss to BYU was embarrassing, right? It was basically because of the penalties. We can get more specific about it later. But ultimately, it doesn't matter because all of ASU's goals are still in front of them as a program. They, can still win the Pac-12 South. They can still win the Pac-12. They can still go to the Rose Bowl. They can do all kinds of stuff. But none of that's realistic unless they really, really handle business against Colorado, because Colorado is not a good football team.
Michelle, you said it. This is we talked about it earlier. This is a Colorado team that's just not very good.
Well, Colorado was one of the most improved teams in the conference last year, and Carl Durrell was the coach of the year, and they looked like they had the makings of something, like he had them headed in the right direction. They had several players that transferred out during the offseason, including their quarterback, who ended up at, of all places, Oregon State. They're a team that was kind of in distress kind of coming into the season. And when you look at the loss that they had, to Minnesota, Minnesota's a quality team, but it's not Alabama, for God's sake. And they had something like 63 yards total offense. Okay, that's mind-numbing if you look at that. So I think ASU needs to win this game and also get fashion points or style points, if you want to call them that. If they barely squeak by this team, 24-21, I think that the skeptics and are going to be out there. They're already flocking all over the place. But I think that they need to win this game, and they need to win it convincingly, do some good things, and get some positive momentum rolling, because UCLA is looming next week. And that now looks like it's probably going to be the most difficult game on their schedule the rest of the way. So I think positive momentum coming out of this game is huge.
Greg, what does ASU need to do to prove that they can win this game handily, as they should, but just to win this game, what do you think they need to do?
They just need to be themselves. ASU's offense is it's a run-first offense, especially when Rashad White, Daniel Ngata, Chip Trainum, when those guys are all healthy and they're all going, that's a hard, what is it, three-headed monster? That's a Cerberus. These guys would be tough to deal with. And Colorado does not have a good run defense. I looked it up. They allow 131 yards rushing per game. That's, middle toward the bottom of the middle of the pack for the Pac-12. If ASU just hands it off and just blasts it up the middle. But the thing that I really want to see more than anything else is ASU has got to stop with these penalties. It's embarrassing. It's silly. It reflects poorly on the program. It reflects poorly on the coaches. It reflects poorly on them as disciplined young men. Like, I don't trust them to make their bed in the morning, much less to go win a football game. Clean up the penalties. Play with your brain.
Yeah, in listening to Herm Edwards on Monday, he called it catastrophic. That was the word he used. And, when you look at ASU and they are the most penalized team in the country, that's not a list that you want to be on.
Listen, that stat is so bad, Michelle. I was laughing when I looked at it. ASU gives up something like 106 yards. They lose like 106 yards a game in penalties. 106. Nobody else in the Pac-12 is over 67. Like, it's not close. So ASU has to do better with it. They just have to do better with that starting yesterday. That's unacceptable.
Michelle, to win this game, ASU needs to do what?
Do what they do best. Run the ball, maybe use the short passing game. Colorado does have a couple of really good defenders. Nate Landman is maybe the best linebacker in the Pac-12, and he's very, very good. But they need to do what they need to do best, and that's run the ball and maybe mix it up with some short passing. Shoot time off the clock. And if they do that,
linebacker in the Pac-12, best line. Have you not heard of Darian Butler? Are you kidding me right now?
Well, go back and see what he's done. No, Nate Landman is a quality. I'm saying he's a quality player, and they do have a couple guys on that side of the ball. Do what you do best. run the ball, take time off the clock, and again, cut the penalties out. If they can do that, I think they're fine. But penalties and turnovers, they had 4 of those. Those are the great equalizers. So don't keep the other team in the game by committing penalties and turnovers.
All right, ASU is a 14.5-point favorite going into this. They're 0-3, by the way, versus the spread this year. I know Greg loves these betting stats. I don't know why I'm paying attention to these things, but they do. They come up. Michelle, your prediction?
Okay. I think it's a get well game. I'm going to call it that. Herm wouldn't call it that when I asked him to call it that. I'm going to go 34-20.
Ooh, 34-20. All right, Greg, I know you love these. So here we go. 14.5-point favorites.
So listen, Colorado hasn't scored in like a month, right? Like they scored 0 against Minnesota.
7
Colorado
versus A&M.
7 versus A&M. All right. But ASU they lose 106 yards in penalties per game, right? Let's go with ASU 106 to Colorado 63 for the number of yards they had.
Oh, come on, Greg.
All right, so we're basing it off of their penalty yards. Well, we're going to see what happens. Sun Devils Stadium, Saturday night, 7:30, Colorado versus ASU. All your coverage here on azcentral.com.
And I don't do predictions.